Okay, I'm here to talk about Monday Night Raw from May 31st, 2010, and offer my opinions on a few things. I want to talk about Evan Bourne being in the main event on Monday Night Raw last night. I want to talk about The Miz. Some people have been saying that The Miz is getting buried or de-pushed or whatever, and I'd like to talk about that. More stories with him and Daniel Bryan and Michael Cole from last night. And we also, the new tag team, Jay and Jimmy Uso and Tamina. So I'll get to all of that in a second. Now, first, NXT is tonight. I want Wade Barrett to win. Now, that's the one guy that I've really liked since the beginning. Now, I don't watch NXT every week, but Wade Barrett is the one guy I see that I think he's got a great personality. When he talks, I'm liking what I'm hearing. Now, he has to work on his in-ring skills, of course, but I think he has potential there. Not a big fan of David Otunga. I have a feeling he might win, but not a David Otunga fan at all. So Wade Barrett for me for NXT. Now let's go on to Monday Night Raw. Now the show actually started with Edge attacking Evan Bourne already. It was just on him attacking him. I was like, what happened? Did I miss something? The show just came on and Edge is attacking him. Apparently before it went on air, Edge was in the ring, and then Evan Bourne came out and said something about he wanted to prove himself. But the show started with a physical attack already going on. You're like, oh gosh, they're going to have Evan Bourne job out again. Evan Bourne has been a jobber for quite some time now, and I know a lot of Evan Bourne fans have been frustrated. They said he should get a push, and Evan Bourne has lost a lot of matches since he's been in WWE. But by the end of the night, he would be in the main event. So I was saying, okay, Evan Bourne, once again, they're using him to make somebody else look good. So Edge clears the ring of him. Starts talking about his other three competitors at the next pay-per-view, the Fatal 4-Way. And eventually Randy Orton comes out after Edge starts to focus on him. Then Edge threatens to make Randy Orton's injured shoulder even worse. He said, basically he could make things worse for him. Out of nowhere, Randy Orton actually gave Edge the RKO. But after he gave him the RKO, he felt, grabbed the shoulder real quick and then, pulled his hand away. But Edge would later on get revenge on Randy Orton. As Randy Orton was distracted talking to Zack Ryder, and Zack Ryder walked off in the backstage area, Edge came from behind, surprised him, and slammed a door into Randy Orton's shoulder. Now, that opened up the door for Evan Bourne. Notice how I said it opened up the door for Evan Bourne and Randy Orton got attacked with a door by Edge. Because John Cena did not have a tag team partner. It was supposed to be John Cena and Randy Orton versus Edge and Sheamus. But now Evan Bourne was inserted as John Cena's tag team partner as a replacement. So I liked how they did that. And Evan Bourne really looked good in that match. I thought he carried himself well. He got a little rub there from John Cena. Cena and Evan Bourne won, and after that, John Cena even picked up Evan Bourne and held him, up a little bit. So, it's great to see Evan Bourne main event. Now, do I think that Evan Bourne is a future main eventer? No. But I think he's possibly be a good upper mid-carder, but we'll see about that. But if you're an Evan Bourne fan, you've got to be very excited. Now, will Randy Orton even make it to the pay-per-view with his shoulder? He's obviously not wrestling because, he's trying to heal the shoulder, but we'll see if they'll find a replacement for Randy Orton, or is he actually going to wrestle in that match? We'll see. Now, we had more theatrics with Daniel Bryan, Michael Cole, and The Miz. Now, the way they had it set up, they said Daniel Bryan was just on Raw for one night, and he had a match with The Miz that Ashton Kutcher, the guest host of the night, signed. And Daniel Bryan ended up winning. He got the pin, 1, 2, 3. After the match, though, The Miz attacked Daniel Bryan and held him in front of Michael Cole, who was sitting at the announce table, and he said, The Miz said, apologize, and Daniel Bryan attacked him. Then Daniel Bryan threw The Miz over the announce table into Michael Cole. I was like, marking out, yes! And so Daniel Bryan got the last laugh. And during the match, Michael Cole was once again ridiculing, Daniel Bryan, calling him a nerd and making fun of his internet wrestling fans. You see what was going on there. So now The Miz lost again. The Miz lost. He lost the U.S. title to Bret Hart. I have no problem with The Miz losing the U.S. title. Somebody needed to defend the title. The Miz was just walking around with it. But I did not agree with the way he lost the title. He lost very easily to Bret Hart. Okay, the Hart Dynasty attacked The Miz, but they only did like 2 moves on him. One of them was their finishing maneuver, the heart attack. But still, The Miz went down very easy, tapped out to Bret Hart's sharpshooter. Bret Hart at his age, I didn't think the sharpshooter was still that effective, where he could make the younger Miz just tap out just like that. So Miz lost the U.S. title real easy to Bret Hart. Did not like that particularly. And now he loses to Evan Bourne. Sometimes in these matches, you got to say to yourself, well, there has to be a winner and there has to be a loser. But, they got to be careful with The Miz. Don't make him look too weak. If WWE has big plans for The Miz in the future, they got to be careful. But I still like Daniel Bryan going over there. So this whole thing with Daniel Bryan, it's going to lead somewhere, folks. It is going to lead somewhere. There was a match between Chris Jericho and R-Truth. R-Truth is the current U.S. champion. And it was a pretty good match for a television show match. And these two guys definitely work well together. I think they have very good chemistry. In the end, Jericho went for the walls of Jericho, and R-Truth gave him kind of like a small package roll-up and pinned him. After that, they had Jericho just with a shocked look on his face, and then kind of a look of a self-doubt, like he's really questioning himself. So we'll see where they go with that. Then there's the new tag team, Jay and Jimmy Uso. Now, they're the sons of Rikishi, also known as Head Shrinker Fatu, for those of you who've been following him since the mid-90s. So Fatu, a.k.a. Rikishi, that's their sons, Jay and Jimmy Uso. It's always good to have more tag teams, okay? It's only one. The WWE's tag team division is still weak. They still need more tag teams, but I like that they brought a tag team in here. Jay and Jimmy Uso and their girl, Tamina. Tamina sounded like a real bitch when she got on the mic, though. I'll tell you that. But no, I don't mean that as a real, I meant the character. And, she seemed kind of tough. The way she carried herself, she attacked Natalya, and she seemed tough. Almost reminded me of a tough former female wrestler, Sensational Sherry. May her soul rest in peace. I'm not sure why I compared Sensational Sherry to Tamina, but, maybe just the toughness, the way she sounded like. The promo that they cut wasn't that good. It was just your stereotypical run-of-the-mill promo by Jay and Jimmy Uso and Tamina. Nothing special. But the Hart Dynasty came out there, and Natalya, and, attacked them. At first they had the upper hand, but then Jay and Jimmy Uso, Tamina got the upper hand, attacked them. They went up to the top and dove off and did their finishing maneuver on all three. So it looks like there's going to be a tag team war there. And the last thing I just want to touch on, Vince McMahon, Bret Hart segment. Basically, Bret Hart came out during the program and said that next week there's going to be a 3-hour Raw. And I swear, there's been a lot of 3-hour Raws in the last year or so. It seems like, I don't know. But that's a good thing. More wrestling, But WWE, I guess, can afford to do 3 hours every once in a while. And it's going to be a 3-hour Raw. It's going to feature SmackDown and Raw superstars next week. And they said that Bret Hart and Teddy Long agreed to this. And it's going to be a fan's choice. So the fans get to vote on what matches they want to see and all. And Ted DiBiase came out there and basically tried to pay off Bret Hart. He said, put me in charge of Monday Night Raw next week. Actually in charge, in power, having all the power. He said something about Bret Hart came back as the general manager because he needs money and Ted DiBiase can give him all the money he wants. I'm not sure if they're gonna really go anywhere with that. And eventually Ashton Kutcher came out and said, no, don't give the power to Ted DiBiase before you decide on that. I'm like, if you're Ashton Kutcher, was Bret Hart really gonna give Ted DiBiase the power anyway? So why would he have to come out and try to stop Bret Hart from doing that? Then Vince came out and he and Bret talked to each other. Now, as Vince McMahon and Bret Hart cut a promo together, it was one of those promos. You ever seen a promo where two guys, or even more than two guys, depending on how many people are in the promo, they're in the ring, and they're talking, and a lot of words are coming out of their mouth, but at the end of the promo, they didn't really say much. It's like, there was nothing really that special about the promo. Yes, they yapped and yapped and yapped and talked, but, nothing really came of the promo. You know, that happens in real life too. You can have two people talking to each other and they're just talking. But in the end, it was just a bunch of bullshit that they were talking about. They didn't really say much. That was with the Bret Hart and Vince McMahon promo. After the promo was over, I was like, what did they really say to each other? I mean, I think Vince McMahon asked him how many times did he hit him with the chair at WrestleMania, and Bret Hart said 18. Other than that, I don't really remember much about the promo, even though I just watched it. So it was much ado about nothing. It was just like an empty promo, in my opinion. Which is a shame, because, you know, Vince McMahon and Bret Hart, two legends of the wrestling industry, more should have been, you know, said or more memorable about the promo. Anyway, that's it for Monday Night Raw. It was an okay episode. I won't say it was good and a must-see, but it was okay. It was okay. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.